you see that Christianity ain't for a black man. In 1619, they brought us here on slave ships, baptized us and turned us into Christians.
Shalom, shalom. How's everybody doing today? We got another lesson, and we're going to do something a little different here. I'm recording off of my screen on the computer, and we're going to go over what the Roman Catholic beliefs are. And this lesson's about the Roman Catholic Church. Who are they really worshiping? But first and foremost, we want to give all honor, all praise, all glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. That's the Father, in the name of the Son. And we always got to give them their just due and praise. Okay, so who is the Roman Catholic Church really worshiping? Hope everybody can read this. Like I said, we're doing something a little different. So the Roman Catholic Church. Now everybody knows pretty much, if you do go into your history books and you find out that the Roman Catholic Church was running things. And to be honest with you, they still running things today. Back then, the Pope ruled with the king. Pretty much the king really didn't do nothing without the Pope's permission. They always went to inquire of the Pope or the bishop or whoever was in charge of that province or land at that time. And then, of course, some lands or countries, the Pope was the ruling authority. And with that being said, if you really think about it, in which, I don't want to get into what I believe, but so much, but the President of the United States has to go see the Pope. Every new president has to go see the Pope, probably within the first month that they are voted in, they got to go see the Pope. You'd ask yourself, why is that? Same thing with the other countries like Australia and Britain and all of them. They got to go see the Pope. Okay? Ask yourself why. Just because, guess what? They still run things. So, Christianity, the religion, comes from the Roman Catholic Church. Martin Luther separated with the Protestant movement from the Catholic Church, but kept a lot of the same teachings and doctrines, like, for instance, Sunday worship. But, we don't call ourselves Christians because Christians kill more people on the whole face of the earth in the name of Christianity. Christians, I don't want to get deep into it, but, we don't want to call ourselves Christians, the people that's in what you call, that's woke up in the truth. We call ourselves Hebrew Israelites or woke, anything besides Christians. And let me tell you why. Just like the name gay, the word gay changed over time. Well, the word gay used to mean happy and joyful and, all this. But now it means somebody that's a homosexual. Okay? Same thing with Christians. We would really be the true Christians because we're actually doing what, disciples and apostles did. Okay? But, we don't want to use that term anymore because of what the stigmatism comes along with it. And more people in the whole face of the earth have been killed in the name of Christianity than any other quote-unquote religion. But God didn't give us religion. He gave us laws, statutes, and commandments to follow. He did not give us any religion, no denomination, anything. You won't find all that in the Bible. So these popes of the Roman Catholic Church, they had slaves. They okayed slavery. And I'm going to get one scripture before we move on, before we get ready to start reading this. Exodus chapter 21 and 16. You don't have to go there. But Exodus 21 and 16. It says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So, slavery and taking people from their land, and all, that's like kidnapping. Them people are going to be put to death. And it also talks about Revelation chapter 13, verse 10. Talks about he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. Now that's biblical. Okay, so one other thing about the priests in the Roman Catholic Church, you know, you got all these popes and bishops and whatever you want to call them. What are they doing? They're molesting kids. Now I'm going to ask you a question. How many of them popes or bishops or whatever do you know of that's been to jail? Maybe one. I don't know of any. Why? So why can they escape that? Because they still running things. All right, so let's get into it. Who is the Roman Catholic Church really worshiping? This study will reveal the meaning of symbols, statues, and attire used by the Pope and priests as they reveal what the Papal Church is really worshiping. Hope everybody can read that. For thousands of years, pagan religions have used symbols to show which gods they worship. These symbols were declared openly in Egypt, Babylon, Rome, and other cultures. Now, you know, the United States is called spiritual Egypt and spiritual Babylon, right? Okay. These symbols are still used today, but their true meanings are hidden. All right. Most people typically don't notice the symbol, or they have a positive impression of it. It's like the symbol on the back of the cars, that little fish symbol. That's the fish god, Dagon. I'm not sure if it's Dagon. But anyway, it's not of the scriptures as far as meaning you're supposed to put. Basically what they're saying, most people typically don't notice the symbol, or they have a positive impression of it. So they don't know what they've been doing. They think it got some, because somebody said it got something to do with God. Christ gave out some fish. No. You got to research everything you do. Let's read on. The lightened understanding and the meaning behind the symbols, and they used them to communicate with others. Okay, let's go up right here. It said leaders of a Christian church should not have anything to do with the symbols of pagan gods. But they do. The Christian cross is found on the walls of Egypt. There are 6 different crosses. I looked it up. That's just one of them. Nowhere in the Bible does it say to wear a cross around your neck. It's idol worship. But you can't tell them that. They won't listen. It says, for what fellowship has righteousness with lawlessness? And what communion has light with darkness? And what agreement has the temple of the Most High with idols? For ye are the temple of the living God. That's 2 Corinthians 6:14 and 16. Okay, now, it says, if you are Catholic, ask yourself why the leaders of the Roman Catholic Church are using all of these pagan symbols. Now, here we go. The succetti, which is worn by Catholic priests, cardinals, and the Pope, represent respect, fear, and submission to Cybele, the mother goddess of Rome. The cap of Cybele is one of the oldest and most sacred pagan religious symbols of humanity, dating back to 2000 BC. The skull cap was worn by the sun priests of Egypt. You see that? It is a thin, slightly rounded skull cap, now formerly known by various titles, including the Yarmulke, the Jewish people, and the Kufi Muslims. Now, some brothers will wear this thing called a kufi. I don't get into that. I don't see it in the scriptures. I don't wear it. I don't know where they got it from or how they think, but I don't wear it. And this is why. It says the Roman Catholic Church calls it the succetti. Vatican Hill was the site of the largest ancient temple to Cybele. Ashtaroth, the goddess of fertility, sexuality, and war, was known as Cybele in Rome. Let's go on up a little bit. So the Bible warns against worshiping her. It's talking about the goddess Cybele. The children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Baals and the Ashtaroth. That's Judges 10 and 6. The Bible declares, for a man indeed ought not cover his head. You see that? Since he is the image and glory of the Most High. That's 1 Corinthians chapter 11. All right. So you need to ask yourself, why do the Catholic priests, bishops, and Pope wear the cap of Cybele? Now, here we go. The mitre hat that is worn by Catholic priests. Now, Israelite brothers, some of them wear the mitre, but not a hat like this. Is a mitre. This goes around, the crown of your head is open. All right? Because you're not supposed to have your head, the crown of your head covered. says the Mitri hat is worn by Catholic priests, cardinals, and the Pope represents Dagon, the Babylonian fish god. You see that picture right there? That, to the left, that is what that hat represents. Yeah, my bishop in my church used to wear that thing, and you see, we going off. We going off. We don't know nothing. We don't ask no questions, but it's going on right in front of our face. Let's see. Let's read on. Okay, now. The ancient Babylonians worshiped Dagon, the god of agriculture, plenty, food, and good fortune. Let me check the screen here real quick. All right. Hope everybody can still see. The Babylonian priests wore a headdress that represented the worship of Sebel and Dagon. It featured an open fish mouth on the head with the rest of the fish body forming a cloak. In the Roman Empire, it was worn by the head priest of Sebel, the Magna Mater, or the great Queen Mother Goddess. Today, the Catholic cardinals, bishops, and pope all wear the open fish mouth Mitri, which represents the worship of Sebel Dagon. The Mitri hat of Dagon is always worn over the kippah of Ashtaroth Sebel, as you can see in the picture of Pope Francis I, and that's the picture to the left. The Most High warned the Jews not to worship the gods of Babylon. I will pronounce my judgments on them concerning all their wickedness, whereby they have forsaken me and have offered sacrifices to other gods and worshipped the works of their own hands. That's Jeremiah chapter 1 and 16. All right, so you need to ask yourself, why do Catholic cardinals, bishops, and the Pope all wear the Mitri of Dagon? So now we're going to get into the obelisks. Now, these obelisks are the same thing on your top of your churches. It's the same thing. It's a shortened version. They're all over the whole United States and all other lands. Why? Because it's sun worship. The obelisks were prominent in the architecture of the ancient Egyptians, who placed them at the entrance of a temple, marking it as a zone of sun worship. The same thing is in the Washington Monument. It's the obelisks. They represent the sun god Ra, the Egyptians' greatest deity. Now, God took us out of Egypt. He said, don't go back into Egypt. There's a scripture that said, don't go back, don't have nothing to do with Egypt. All wicked. But this land here, Babylon and Egypt, they love it. And read it again. They represent the sun god Ra, the Egyptians' greatest deity, the creator of humanity, the source of all heat and light, the being on which man was totally dependent. An Egyptian obelisk sits in front of the Pantheon of ancient Rome, which housed statues of the pagan gods. The obelisk was originally constructed by Pharaoh Ramses II for the temple of Ra in Heliopolis. It was brought to Rome in ancient times, where it was used near a shrine to the Egyptian god Isis. Going up a little bit. The Pantheon was dedicated to Pantheos, meaning all the gods. You see that? All the gods. Man. When it became a Roman Catholic church, it was dedicated to the Virgin Mary and all the martyrs. The most well-known Egyptian obelisk was reenacted in 1586 AD in front of the St. Peter's Basilica. It is surrounded by a sun wheel with the points lining up with the vernal equinox, the summer solstice, and the winter solstice. See, all this is sun worship. And the vernal equinox and summer solstice, winter solstice, these are all times where they get seriously into worshiping pagan gods. I mean, y'all got to do some history and find out some of this stuff. It's all sun worship, all pagan. And Christianity has a lot of pagan stuff in it. You know, Christmas is pagan. It's not in the Bible. They want to get all in that. During the sunrise on the vernal equinox, the sun causes the obelisk to cast its shadow toward the dome of St. Peter's Basilica, which represents a sexual union of the sun god and moon goddess. What the Bible say? Don't worship the sun and the moon. And they doing it. They don't know they're doing it, but they're doing it. See that picture right there? All right. It said the Most High's second commandment says, "You shall not make for yourself a carved image or likeness of anything as in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or as in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them. I am your Lord, your God, am a jealous God." Now, when we put, I say we because I used to do it, our people, that's when I'm talking about we, put an angel on top of your tree or star, anything, you see, we're not supposed to be doing that. It says it. It's in the Bible. Don't do this. Don't do that. I talked to this one guy at work. He knows about the Christmas tree, but he says he's not worshiping, so he's still bringing it in his house. I said, but why are you even chancing it? He says we're supposed to refrain from all any kind of evil, perception of evil. But they want to chance it and still bring that thing in their house. I wouldn't chance it. All right, so then it says, ask yourself, why does the Catholic Church venerate pagan monuments to the sun god? The six-sided star, here we go, is a supreme symbol of satanic tyranny. Now you notice the same symbol that the fake Jews use. Some brothers use this. I don't want to get into all that, talking about Star David and all this stuff. We're going to read it. The hexagram was used by people such as the pagan Babylonians, Egyptians, and Assyrians to directly or indirectly worship Satan. Helena Blestavi, I can't pronounce her name, wrote that Lucifer is a true god, and she incorporated the hexagram in the emblem of the Theological Society, which she founded in 1875. Satanists and Luciferians, astrologers, and witches used it to invoke the power of demons. The six-sided star numerically equals 666, 6 points, 6 triangles, 6 sides. Christians pass it off as the Star of David. All right. But the truth is that King David never used that star. So calling it nice sounding names hides what it really represents. King Solomon used it in witchcraft, magic, and idolatrous worship to Astaroth and Moloch. Oops. Stephen accused the Jewish leaders, let's see if you can get it, and took you up to the tent of Moloch and the star of your god Rephaim, the figures which you made in order to worship them. That's in Acts. All right, so like I said, some brothers, they have that star, and they say it's not a Star of David. They say it's a pomegranate or a lily and all. No, I don't get into that, okay? If that's what they believe, that's what they believe. But you see here, this is saying something different. Okay, so now, the 8-pointed star represents the pagan goddess Ishtar, the light bringer. Now, I'm not going to read this one. If you could freeze your screen, and you'll see, and read it yourself for sake of time. But you'll see that, of course, it's another pagan symbol. Okay, so he goes in and says, ask yourself, why does the Catholic Church use the 8-pointed star of Ishtar? So now we're going to get into something here. Now, this looks just like what Hitler used. The little, I don't even know what that thing Hitler had, but that's what it looks like, right? Look to your left. See the Catholic priest or the Pope wearing that thing? That I think the Knights, what do they call them? The Knight Templars wore that, something like that too. The Maltese cross, that's what it's supposed to be, represents Shamash, the god of the sun and justice. In the image, the ancient Assyrian king is wearing a cross on his chest. You see that to the left top? That's an ancient Assyrian king. See, every captivity our people have been in, talking about the Israelites, it was all wicked. And what did God say? What did he say all throughout the Bible? Don't worship the gods of the heathen. Don't worship the gods of other nations. And we doing it. It says, in the image of the ancient Assyrian king wearing a cross on his chest, just like the one seen in the Pope's robe, Shamash was a native Mesopotamian deity and the sun god in the Akkadian, Assyrian, and Babylonian pantheons. Shamash was the god of justice in Babylonian and Assyria, corresponding to Samaria, Utu. The cross was identified with the sun god 8 centuries before Christ and long before it was called the Maltese cross of Malta. It's also called the Iron Cross. Roman Catholic Adolf Hitler renewed use of the Iron Cross in 1939 and superimposed a Nazi swastika in its center. Now, ask yourself, why does the Pope wear the cross of Shamash, the sun god? Now, you got this pine cone here on his staff, or it says it's Egyptian god Osiris staff. And it talks about what pine cones are. Pine cones are associated with the spiritual enlightenment, ancient Babylonians, Egyptians, and Greeks. They represent the mysterious link between the physical and spiritual worlds, which can be found in the human brain in the pineal gland. The pine cone staff is a staff symbol of the solar god Osiris, and originated in Egypt, where he was their Messiah who died for his people and whose mother Isis was worshipped as the Virgin Mother. The Vatican also has the world's largest pine cone that once decorated a fountain in ancient Rome next to a vast temple of Isis. At the old St. Peter's Basilica, it was dedicated to... See, all this stuff is all pagan. Alright? All this stuff is pagan. It says Revelation 13 says the dragon, says that dragon... Now we're gonna get into another one down here. All right, let me hold on a second. All right, hope everybody can still see and read it. Probably gotta open your screens up some. It says Revelation 13 said that Satan the dragon gives authority to the Antichrist beast. The Bible calls Satan the great dragon who deceives the world. Now, who deceived the whole world? What nation of people? What people went to every land and forced a religion on the people? Who did that? Can somebody tell me? So the great dragon was cast out, that serpent of old, called the devil and Satan, who deceives the whole world. He was cast to the earth, and his angels were cast with him. Now, what's the largest religion? Isn't it Christianity? Somebody tell me something. Remember now, it says deceive the whole world. What other religion did you see on here with that was in here? Wasn't it Islam? The Muslims? Aren't those the two biggest religions? And this right here says what? Deceive the whole world? Okay. So, the great dragon... Okay, I think I read that already. It says, Revelation 13 tells us the Antichrist beast is empowered by the dragon to deceive the whole world. So they worship the dragon who gave authority to the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So, the United States, we'll say England and Australia, we'll say Canada, all of them in alliance with each other. You fight one, you're probably going to have to fight them all. I'm not going to put Russia in there with it. But who's able to make war with the beast? Nobody. Everybody's scared of the United States military. It's going to be one world religion, one world military. That's where we're going. And right here, what did it say? They deceived the whole world. Now, this world's talking about the earth. All right. So now you see the pictures here? Now, y'all can go to this online. It says RomanCatholicBleach.org and pull it up for yourself and read it for yourself and find out some stuff in it. You'll see pictures of dragons. This is all in Rome at the Vatican. Why would they have pictures of dragons? That's because they are the dragon. They are the dragon. The red dragon. Red is Esau. I'm not going to get into all that, but ask yourself, why does the Catholic Church use images of the dragon, which represents Satan? Friend, it's obvious that the Roman Catholic Church is worshiping other gods, which is forbidden by the Bible. God's first commandment says, thou shalt have no other gods before me. It's Exodus 20:3. The Roman Catholic Church and the Pope have fulfilled many Bible prophecies as the Antichrist beast of Revelation. All right, so got some references down here. Now, and I pulled this up before. It had a lot of good questions down here, but this was years ago. I don't see it now. But if you go, let me go back, hold on, to the left, come on up here, right. You got some, if you look to your right of the screen, it talks about, now this is, of course, probably, another nation writing this, so, take it as a grain of salt. It says, how do you obtain salvation? Not by Peter, not by Mary. They worship Mary. Not by works. Now, I'm not going to get into that part. Not by the Eucharist Mass. Not by sprinkling of that little holy water they sprinkle. Not by going to church. Not by tithing. Not by penance. Not by confession. They got to confess to the priest. That's not by last rites. Not by purgatory. They say you going to purgatory and all this stuff is crazy. Not by rosary beads, not by pilgrimage, not by law. Not by law, I know what they're talking about. Not by poverty, meditation, Catholic, whatever that says. Not by candles. They light candles. They do all this pagan stuff. Okay? They light incense. They do all this stuff. So the thing is, okay, the thing it is, we being deceived. As a nation, we being deceived. And we got to come out of it. So I hope this little lesson here was kind of beneficial to you, share it. And there's way more than this. I just want to do a little short lesson. There's way more than this about the Roman Catholic Church. But, I hope you could take this and you got some edification out of it. Until next time, Shalom.